Okay. Welcome to the Whiskey Vault. I'm Daniel Whittington, Chancellor of Wizard Academy and Whiskey Marketing School. This is Westland Solum Edition 2. And it was sent, not by the brand, but by Jon Engman, who has sent us so much whiskey and so many fancy things. And he reached out and he said, hey, I want to send you these Westland ones. And he sent 3. I might pull the other 2 down as an addition to this one, but the purpose of this video was this one because I was most interested in this one, which is Solum, is their release where they are working with Pacific Northwest peat, a Washington State peat bog. And so the smoke in this one is coming from, the essence of Washington State. Instead of normally when you use smoky barley in a whiskey, the vast majority of smoky whiskey in the world, they are sourcing their smoked grains. And most smoked grain on the planet is coming from Scotland. And so even in America, a lot of the smoky malts and smoky whiskeys are using Baird's or Simpson's for peated malt from the UK. That's changing. There are now, small guys like Andalusia, Crowded Barrel did it, the Colcagen, Del Bach, that are smoking their own grains using things other than peat, but also peat. And Westland is in this group of smoking with Washington peat. That's really cool to me. And before I open it, the back of the bottle has this great write-up that says, well, no, I'm going to holding a whiskey while I read that. But I read it and I was like, very rarely do I really enjoy reading the back label write-up because I really want them to be kind of more informative and tell me what's going on. And usually it's like generic promotional or generic like handcrafted, hard, and it's bullshit. But this one was really beautifully written, and so I actually kind of like it. Yeah. I have my computer up over here. From the email that John sent me to say, here's what I'm sending you, so that I could see if there's any extra information that I can tell you guys. But immediately it's filling the room. Whew, it's wafting. Woo! Smells good on the fingers too. So the back it says, charting peat. Peat is the essence of time, the history of Earth itself, evidence of everything that lived in this place. Mysterious and brooding, dark and layered, it is perpetual life condensed. Set alight, that essence is transformed. The smoldering energy of thousands of years released in potent, sinuous clouds. Solum directly connects us to the primordial essence of the Pacific Northwest and explores its terroir through a rediscovery of the oldest style of whiskey. I like that. It's very visual and very, good word choices, and it's short and concise and punchy. Now, did it tell me anything? No. They used peat is the point of that. But it's well written. Oh, man, that nose. Deep, toasted butterscotch. It's really, really fruity for a smoked malt. It shouldn't be a surprise. Coming from Westland. There's this sort of dark almond pastry, burnt edges, slight hint of, I'm seeing, a campfire, slow drift of campfire smoke, through dark, damp woods. It's very earthy. Very, very, wet earth. Wet, decaying tree matter and things like that. This is, it's kind of catching my nose a little bit. 50% alcohol. It's a beautiful nose. Really well balanced. I'm a big fan of Westland, by the way. I don't have any relationship with them, but I've always been a fan of what they make. Oh, that's so good. Wow, that might be one of my favorite Westlands that I've tried recently. Maybe period. I really love the early days of Westland when they had sherry, peat, American oak, or bourbon cask, And then they sort of consolidated all of that into, I think I have one over here. Yeah. No, this is the peated. When I realized they were getting rid of those, I bought a bunch of them. But now it was just Westland whiskey. And this is part of their new round of things where it's, Solum, but then also they have up here, I'll just bring them. Screw it, I might even try these because this is so good. They have wine cask finish, beer cask finish, and I get where that's going because now you can sort of have like standard releases that you don't have to change the label every single time, and it blends which variations of wine casks together, which gets them a larger volume, which gets them better distribution, and I'm all for more people drinking Westland, so that's fine with me. As a matter of fact, one of my only arguments with Westland has been that they released so many freaking things that if you go in the vault, I've got probably 30 bottles of Westland in there because it was like single cask this, single cask beer, single cask wine, single cask partnership with these guys, single cask because we felt like it. This release of this one, and it was just like, oh man, every time I see a new one, I want to buy it, but this is too much whiskey. So I don't really mind a slight consolidation. That's very helpful to me. I'm letting this sit for a second. I'm going to look over here. I'm not going to do a screenshot because I'm just roaming to see. Oh, they have tasting notes over here. And they say, rosemary bagel. I get the bagel. I don't know that I get the rosemary. Maybe the herbal sort of earthy notes that I'm picking up on are getting interpreted as that. Dry tobacco, I get that. That's definitely, yeah, tobacco notes. Jasmine and sage. I'm getting more of, yeah, I mean, sure. That's very pretty sounding. And I could see what you're talking about because those are all, rosemary and sage are earthy herbs, right? And jasmine is this like really floral, vibrant kind of, but still dense and heavy. Like jasmine has a floralness that feels clingy sometimes if you're right in the middle of it. Oh, and it just, again, palate rolls down buttercream. You get a little bit of the ashy burnt edges of things. Like when I said in the very beginning, there's this ashy burnt direction on the nose. It's there on the finish of the palate too. There's a slight tanginess to the palate that's unique that I can't put a finger on, but it gives it this sort of like, I know that wasn't a word. Oh, really just jumps off the palate. It's beautiful. Damn it. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're going to pour the other two because
YOLO.
Because YOLO. Are people still saying YOLO? I don't know.
Double geezers like me.
Yeah, just us, Mike. Just us. Okay. The other day I had the really depressing moment where my boys taught me a new term. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I get it. And then like 3 weeks later, I used it in front of some other kids and they're like, oh, that's old stuff. I was like, already? And I was like, what about last month? And they're like, no, it was probably fine then. I'm like, geez, this is rough. I can't keep up. I gotta just constantly be Googling what cool kids are saying these days. Okay, this is the beer cask finish. I'm gonna do them all at once. And then, this is the wine cask finish. Wow, okay. Bing, look at that lineup. Aren't those pretty? Okay, I'm gonna start with the beer cask. I am not usually a generic beer cask guy. I love stout cask finish because it adds this creamy, chocolatey note to things, but just all the other beer casks are hit or miss. As a matter of fact, even with Westland, wow, I've got indigestion. Even with Westland, a lot of their cask collaborations, I was like, it's good, but it's not my favorite. This one, they say on the back, oh, yeah, okay. Somebody else wrote this. I mean, I don't, maybe I'm wrong. Whoever wrote the back of this one, I don't think wrote the back of these. These are way more generic marketing copy language, followed by a practical explanation. So they're saying they integrate Saison, Stout, Scotch Ale, and Doppelbock casks into this blend. And this is batch 1. Okay. It's a lot of different beer styles. And it smells totally different. Okay, I'm going to sit with that for a second. What did Jon say about this one when he emailed it to me? No, he's just saying the same thing as what the back says. This is just their beer cask collaboration kind of thing. I started to say there was fruit in the peat one, but I think it's more floral because now that I'm smelling this is fruity, which makes sense because, you know, beer and fermentations and things. This is really fruity and really kind of pungent in a good way. Usually, is pungent always a negative word? Because I don't mean it negatively, but it's... Okay, before I taste it, I'm going to smell the wine cask finish before my palate alters again. Oh, there you go. That's more my territory. There's a slight sourness to the nose on the wine cask finish, and it looks like they are mixing Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah, and Washington Red blend. So also a bunch of Washington wines. And this one is, like, to me, the classic wine cask or sherry cask direction. It's not sherry, but where you get a lot of... Oh, that's me. Sorry, I didn't turn my phone off. Where you get a lot of berries. Berries and cream. A bowl of berries and cream. Oh, it smells beautiful. It also smells that same earthiness that's in this one. There's this sort of dry earthiness. This one is mulchy earthiness and wet and damp. This one is earthy, but like more sun-baked. Okay, I'm going to go to the beer cask first. And coming back to this, by the way, this is the peat one. The nose is way smokier now in comparison. Oh, and going back to the beer, it just turned into like potpourri in fruit. Wild. Oh! What is that? That's not my thing. But I'm not a beer guy. Like, beer nerds, they're serious people. and beer, I like pedestrian beer. Like Guinness and, you know, English and Scottish beers, or, you know, a Shiner Bock. But like when you get, if I go to like down the street, we have Jester King, Jeffrey Stuffings founded. And I don't like anything from Jester King. And every beer person I know is outraged by that sentence. But that's just proof I'm not a beer guy, I think. I mean, I always drink it and think, I could see what you would like about this, but I don't want any more. I can see why people would like it. And there's that palate very much has all of those like sort of esoteric beer notes. But there's something else in there that's throwing me a little bit. This is really weird, but it's got a taste that reminds me of lavender hand lotion. And it's clingy. I'm gonna go to the wine one. Okay. I'm gonna make sure I'm not missing any of the details for you guys. No, the website on this one just says exactly the same thing that the bottle says. Oh, I like the nose on this a lot. Back to the berries and the dryness and the sun-baked. Oh, Oh, nice. So that one, there's a lot of tartness and a lot of pastry, like bready notes. I would thought that the wine would have made it more candied, but it's not. It's very dry. Astringent is the wrong word, but it's... So weirdly, I'm getting a note of bergamot, which is in tea. It's why I don't like Earl Grey tea. I don't know about that one. Okay, what I will say is these achieved exactly as advertised. Definitely that's a beer cask whiskey. Definitely that's a wine cask finished whiskey. Very clearly. I should go on their website and see what the tasting notes they gave for these two are, but I'm not gonna because we're already at 17 minutes, so forget it. I'm gonna come back to this one because this one to me felt like coming home, right? These were explorations, varying degrees of I like it, love the nose, okay with the palate, enjoyed the nose, don't like the palate, because it's not my preference. But this, even now I pick it up and it makes me feel happy. The ashiness and the dryness in the nose are even stronger now. The density of this perfumey kind of density, very high. Oh, and the palate is perfect. This is a cohesive, brilliantly blended presentation of nose and palate. I mean, damn near freaking flawless. I would, high marks, recommend this to anyone who could get their hands on. I don't know how many bottles there are of it, but that's incredible. If you like beer and if you like certain kinds of wines, you'd probably love these things. So don't take my word for it. Just know if you like, yeah, just, you know. This one, however. Jon, thank you so much. This has been really fun. I hope that you guys found it productive. I don't know what the future of Westland is, but every time they come up with something new, I think, yeah, good call, guys. And this is no different. Cheers to you all. I'm really glad you're here. Like and subscribe. I don't have a good pitch for this one. Like and subscribe.